Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right.
I can do this. Rob, you gonna sing?
I don't know. Maybe. My friends are there. Some of that. We gotta love that. Yeah.
What did I just play?
Highway to Hell? AC/DC? You don't even know what you're playing, do you?
No.
It's just like some kind of subconscious thing, you know?
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory. That's what it is.
An entire childhood playing classic rock and heavy metal and.
Was it classic rock though when you were a child?
No, it was the hottest thing. I was like, oh my God, who's this new band called AC/DC? And who's this like dude running around on stage like he's on crack?
Yeah. Yeah. Angus, you know, I still worry about his neck after all these years of doing that, you know. He's always
He looks a lot more frail these days than he used to.
he does.
Well, you know, he's like 80 years old now. Come on, give me a break.
But you know what? At the same time, he's still out there doing it, you know? In fact, I think there's a lot to learn from really old rock stars that are still out there performing. They're still around.
Move it or lose it.
Well, yeah. You know, you can apply that to pretty much all old people, I think.
There you go.
Right, you know?
Keep moving.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Welcome to IoT Coffee Talk. Today, we're pleased to have a special guest, Leigh Christie from Misty West. Hey, Leigh. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me on the pod. It means a lot to me.
Yeah. We're thrilled to have you. Leigh's up in Vancouver. Just north of Pete and I. We're down here in the Seattle area.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys got the atmospheric river?
I'm feeling it.
Enjoying a little rain, actually.
What?
Nice.
We have rain.
Oh, geez.
We're getting more rain today than the entire month of August.
I believe it. Yeah. I believe it.
Right. Most people don't know Pacific Northwest in the summertime. We're like in a drought situation here.
Yeah, it hadn't rained much at all.
So this
It's getting fires are starting to threaten us from every angle.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I'm just looking out at my yard and it's like going, yes, let's turn green again.
moisture.
Yeah.
So Leigh, man, tell us about yourself and tell us all about what Misty West is.
Yeah, absolutely. We're an engineering firm that's focused on, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, firmware for intelligent and connected devices. And in the last 5 or 6 years, we've really narrowed our focus down to mining technology, health tech, and what we would like to say smart infrastructure, which encompasses smart logistics and materials handling.
Wow.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's like the design and fabrication of the devices themselves.
Yeah, the emphasis on the design. I would say I wouldn't consider us to really be a manufacturer, right. But whether we like it or not, there's always like at least a couple of customers per year that their volumes are low enough where it actually makes sense for us to make them, and so we'll do up to like a couple thousand units.
Really? Oh wow! So you guys are kind of like a design house then, right?
Primarily. Yeah. But we hesitate to use that term though, because there's so many design houses out there that only do industrial design,
right?
And so we don't want to be confused for an industrial design house. So we're primarily a mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and firmware engineering.
Yeah.
Okay. But how's that different? I mean, just so that our audience understands.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'd love to explain that difference. So first of all, some of our best customers are industrial design companies. So design houses hire us to do the engineering.
Okay.
One big difference. But the biggest difference being it's not like we don't do any industrial design. Like we have a full-time industrial designer on staff, which I think helps us sort of bridge the gap or at least speak the language. So we're not at a loss or a disadvantage there. But we don't compete with these industrial design houses really at all. I mean, we're leading with the engineering. We're basically saying, look, is what you're doing technically difficult? Because if you're designing like a new type of blender where the primary advantage of your blender is the industrial design, like how it looks, that's not a place where that's not a Misty West shaped hole. That's not a place where we can deliver value. Where we would deliver value is if you're inventing a new type of blender that has never existed before in terms of its technical functionality, especially if that involves embedded intelligence or embedded connectivity.
I have an idea for a new blender. It's called the Bassomatic 76.
Okay. It creates bass while you play the blender. Is that the idea?
No, it's actually you put a fish in it, like a bass, and you put it in the blender, and then you pour it out, and you have that's good bass.
Then you have chum.
Rob, I think your cultural reference may be a little too archaic. I'm not sure.
Can you make buttery biscuit bass with it?
No.
You could, maybe. Yes. But you're right, since we're all older than dirt, don't you remember Dan Aykroyd doing the ad with Lorraine Newman, Somatic 76, you get the bass, you put the bass in this blender. And then Lorraine Newman's pouring it out like a shake. That's some good bass. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I just had that. That was kind of weird.
You know what? You are an old person with a really good memory.
Yeah.
I create our next April Fool's joke. That's pretty good. We have every year Misty does like an April Fool's product that we're not actually making. One year we did an IoT connected skimboard. And so what a lot of people don't know is that Misty West, when our company was founded in 2004, myself and Josh Usher founded the company together, and we're avid longboarders, skateboarders, surfers, and we decided we were going to start a skateboard company, and we called it Misty West, as in like the Misty West Coast, as opposed to like a stripper name or something like that.
That's what we normally think of.
You'd be shocked how many people think we named it after a stripper. But no, it's like the West Coast is very misty as the Seattleites. Is that what you say? Do you guys say Seattleites?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think it's
Seattleites, Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
We made this IoT skimboard as a harkening back to our founding days as a skateboard company. We said, hey, look, we're bringing the skimboards back, but this time, embedded intelligence, embedded connectivity. You now have the ability to tell how long your skims are, and all this like relatively useless IoT functionality embedded into a product that has no business being intelligent or connected. And the Internet of Shit picked it up, and it was just
that's awesome. And you've described most of IoT. It had no purpose, so we just connected it because somebody at Cisco said we were supposed to connect everything or something. I don't know. All matter will be intelligent, right, Rob? Right. So surfing in the Pacific Northwest, do you go out to Tofino? I do, yeah. So whenever the smoke rolls into Vancouver, the least smoky place is Tofino. Yeah. And it's it's like the climate's like not that dissimilar from like La Push. Right. That's true. And it's got that surf culture, as I'm sure you're all aware. And it's a great refuge from the smoke that generally comes from the Okanagan. Or in some cases further west, but it blows through Vancouver. And so I got two young kids. I got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. Yeah. And my wife and I are both like very concerned about like air quality. Sure. So we're just doing everything we can to keep them out of the smoke. I think Tofino is just the heaven on earth. I love going there. It's just such a great place to get away. And weird ancient trivia. My first knowledge of Tofino, Canada, up there on Vancouver Island, was when I was in the Navy on submarines. And so our base is on the Hood Canal, our Trident base. And so when we would come back from sea, if we're coming back to port, in the Pacific Ocean, but before we get into the Strait of Juan de Fuca, we'd be on the surface, and I just have it, I'm driving the submarine, and I have a distinct memory, the radio thing is going, we're communicating with, and the very first entity we would make contact with as we're approaching the West Coast would be, hello, USS Alaska, this is Tofino traffic. And it's almost like air traffic control for ships coming in. And so Tofino, that's how I first heard of it, was listening, crackling, talking to someone, guiding us in. So there you have it. Useless trivia, like lots of useless Internet of Shit devices.
That doesn't sound to me. You were a submarine. I did not know that about you. That you drove. Yeah, piloted submarines. That is freaking cool.
Submariner.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. Be careful there, Pete. This is how we'll know. So there's people who might say, "Oh yeah, I was a submariner," and you instantly know that they're lying. Believe it or not, in our community, we're called submariners.
No way.
Everyone knows that. Well, everybody who's in the club you're a submariner, and so it reminds me of one of those Die Hard sequels where Bruce Willis gets in the elevator, and the other guys are in there, and they're trying to pretend that they're good guys, but we know they're all bad guys. And one of them mentions that it's a lift and not an elevator, and then that's how Bruce Willis knows. It immediately turns around and kills all of them. So same kind of thing.
It turns out that was a terrible mistake. But.
Well, same kind of thing though. That's how I'll know that you're not really a real submariner. So
I used to live in San Francisco, and that's how you know if someone's not from there, is they'll call it San Fran.
Oh God, I cringe whenever I hear San Fran. Yeah.
Frisco's worse.
Yeah. Remember, it's just called the city.
Yeah. Right. Or some people say SF. Some people from the city say SF.
Yeah.
SF is the most common.
Yeah, it's true. So I got to know Leigh just from our IoT orbits and stuff like that way back when,
Yeah.
And so tell us, give us your personal background. Where'd you come from? Tell us, give us your story.
Wait, before that though, hey, thanks for jumping on and sponsoring this episode. And when we say sponsored, it's not that they're giving, Misty West is giving us money so that we all make a profit. No, these proceeds go to a charity that we have, which is Elevate Our Kids. So thank you so much for that. And then remember, take it seriously at your own peril. We've upgraded to peril, from risk to peril. Especially, don't listen to anything Rob says. So, especially if it has anything to do with equities and investment, it's probably.
Oh, I love talking about that stuff. Anything and everything is fair game for me. One of the core values at Misty West is transparency, and we try to live that value. Yeah, it's really. I think in some ways I get myself into trouble because I speak so freely on so many topics. I don't self-censor really at all. And that can at times get us into trouble. But I think it's more important, at Misty West, one of the things we really cherish is when our clients and our customers, our vendors, our partners, are able to give us feedback and say, hey, look, this is what can make Misty West better. And so we believe a culture of free speech, makes that possible. The more trouble we can get in today, the better, I think, is probably the way I like to think about it.
We're all about being in trouble.
Yeah. I like that a lot. And then, you were asking me about my own personal background. My background's engineering. My technical background's engineering physics. Went to school at MIT. A little bit later in life, I'm kind of in my I'm like midlife now at this point. And I was very, very lucky to kind of attend a program at MIT that kind of let me do whatever I wanted. And what I discovered is the major advantage of American schools over Canadian schools. Canada has great schools, but the big difference is American schools have a lot more money. And so I actually was able to get my thesis project funded to the tune of $100,000 or something like that, which would have never, I don't think would have ever happened in Canada. And so that really kind of launched the second stage of my career. The first stage of my career, I founded Misty West, but my business partner ran the company without me while I lived in the US for 7 years. So we had this really weird business relationship. I actually don't know anyone else that has this business relationship where we founded a company together. I was sort of the main sales guy at the beginning. Not that I'm a salesperson at all, but my background in engineering, my background in large scale sculptures and things like that made it possible for me to network pretty easily. And so I found a bunch of early customers and some fairly big ones. And then I left to the US. I didn't leave Misty West per se, but I reduced my hours to zero and took no salary. And my business partner ran that company, Misty West, as the sole owner, not sole owner, but the only owner in Vancouver. And he grew it to about $2 million in revenue, and or maybe $2.5 million in revenue around there. And but then he moved to Australia, and my mom got sick, and I had to go back to Canada, and I thought, well, this is perfect timing. I'll just run Misty West when you go to Australia, and then but I knew I wasn't cut out to be a CEO. That's not really my forte in life. So we found a CEO within the company. We promoted him. His name's Taylor Cooper. Brilliant man, super like crazy hard work ethic, excellent strategist, and had a bunch of the qualities that I don't have, frankly, in terms of just like focus on goals and OKRs and things like this. And I'm more on that sort of creative side of things, so to speak. And so Josh left, and I've been running the company now with Taylor as partners for the last 5.5, 6 years, and we're now coming up on about 6 million in revenue. So we've grown the company. Yeah, we've grown the company substantially, largely due to Taylor's efforts on focus. Enough. Don't try to do everything. Just narrow your focus down to specific technologies, specific industries. That was kind of the key. And where I'm kind of at now in my career trajectory is I've kind of done the artist sculptor thing in the beginning, where we built the Mondo Spider. I don't know if you guys ever saw that.
Yeah, let's talk about that at some point.
Yeah, you can bring that up whenever you want. It's a 8-legged walking machine. I'm happy to talk more about it. Founded a nonprofit called the Eat Art Foundation. So I spent a lot of time the first half of my career in the nonprofit sector, just making like no money basically,
living on the streets. Yeah.
Well, I was lucky actually. I was living in like roommate situations where like you're living in Vancouver. There's tons of these houses that are going to get demolished for developments. And so the rent is super cheap, and you just pile a bunch of people into the house together. Like you'll have like 7 people living in one of these like crappy dilapidated mansions. And they tend to be like party houses. So like the way you pay the rent is you throw big parties, and then like, so I was actually pretty lucky. I can live like maybe not anymore now that I have 2 kids and a wife, but like 3 kids, like I'm able to live on like a shoestring budget, which is a key requirement, I think, for a good entrepreneur in some ways.
And I would never expect to hear anything about like a really super cheap anything in the city of Vancouver. So you've broken new ground here.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things that are cheap in Vancouver.
Everybody knows about how pricey Vancouver is. So that's interesting.
That's just to keep people out, man. That's just to keep people out.
Okay.
First of all, our real estate is significantly cheaper than San Francisco. Like a fraction of the cost of San Francisco, New York, like $1 per square foot. Like we're nowhere near the same ballpark. Why people say it's expensive to live in Vancouver is our wages are lower. Our wages are a lot lower. Our wages are lower in Vancouver than they are in Seattle. Even though we're right next to each other.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's expensive city relative to salary, but in terms of like real estate prices, like it's like not, but there is something weird happening in Vancouver that you guys might not know about, which is that there's mountains to the north, agricultural farmland to the east, which is protected under the ALR. So you can't develop it. There's America to the south, and then there's ocean to the west. So Vancouver is squished up in a very small area, and it has to grow upwards. So it's a city on the grow, and that does push the value of the dirt upwards pretty rapidly, and it shapes our economy. It means that when tech startups, like an IoT tech startup, has a big exit in Vancouver, what do you think they do with the money?
North Vancouver.
They buy real estate. Yeah, they buy real estate in North Vancouver or whatever, or West Vancouver. And rather than reinvesting that money back into the IoT economy, back into the hardware, hard tech, deep tech startup economy, which is a big problem here.
Yeah, Seattle has this weird deal because it's squished together by the Puget Sound on one side and Lake Washington on the other, and so Seattle is actually just a narrow north and south strip of land. And a lot of people don't realize that until you are flying into the city, coming back home or whatever on a plane, and you, from that perspective, you go, oh wow, Seattle's just this little thin strip of land. It's no wonder that we have such bad traffic growth. Because there's nowhere to go. It's not like a city that's hub and spoke and has land going all over the place,
Like
and
Phoenix,
so which is probably why we had so much of the growth since the 90s has been on the east side, Bellevue, Redmond, Issaquah, all that.
Well, and Austin too, I think, is going vertical as a city. I mean,
Austin didn't used to have skyscrapers.
No, now it's like,
now they do. It's a crazy town. I do love going to the east, as you say, to the Okanagan for the wine country out there. My wife and I have been doing the wine thing. Osoyoos, Oliver, Penticton, Kelowna, Summerland, all that. Awesome. Leonard's sitting there going, Rob, what are you talking about? We're talking about wine, baby, because that's really all that matters, especially in this crisis.
IoT is good for is wine.
We're in a crisis mode in the wine industry, maybe spirits as well. In Washington, wine's a big deal. It's close to my heart because I know a lot of people in the industry. Wine sales are down dramatically.
Kids aren't drinking, man. The kids aren't having sex.
They're not drinking. What's going on?
They're not having sex. They're not drinking. They're playing video games.
Are they?
They're doing other.
Are they taking edibles instead of drinking booze?
I think a little bit. I think edibles are up. Yeah, edibles are up. Vaping is up.
Vaping.
Video
White
games
Claw.
are up. Yeah, AI
girlfriend and
AI girlfriend.
AI girlfriends and White Claw. I think that's.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on there.
But they're drinking. They're drinking mocktails though.
Yeah.
Actually, mocktails are really a big growth area.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go into that.
That's like
high fructose sugars. That's what you should invest in.
I know. IoT connected mocktails.
Oh.
That's what they do.
Oh. Wow.
There you go.
Change. I love that.
Leigh, I was Leigh, I was curious. So you work with primarily design houses. How do your customers approach you, or what are the markets or how do you approach the market?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I wouldn't say we work primarily with design houses. I would say, over the last 10 years, several of our biggest customers came to us through our connections with industrial designers. But and then in some cases, like we work directly for IDEO. We've worked on quite a few projects where the primary contractor was the industrial design house, and then they subcontracted to us. But what's even more common than that is the industrial design house brings us in, and then we contract directly to the client. I would say that's probably even more common. And our biggest clients right now are Medtronic, Google. We have we worked on the Quest. We worked on the Quest 3 for Meta. That was a fun project. We've done work for Intel. We built a 3D display for Intel, and we built an IoT connected traffic direction sign for Amazon. We did a mosquito trap for Microsoft for helping combat, for helping like figure out where viruses are spreading and things like this to help combat malaria. And with the IDEO, we worked on a polar bear tracker. That was a pretty fun project. Satellite connected IoT, polar bear tracker. Right. There's a bunch of other big. We did a huge project recently for Avery Dennison. That was an amazing project. I can't talk about that at all.
Yeah, sure.
It's so fresh that it's not public information yet. But so we like, I would say like more than half of our revenue comes from like large Fortune 1000 US companies. And then probably about 40, it fluctuates, but somewhere around 40 to 50% of our revenue will come from startup companies, like really well-funded Series A and beyond startups.
Okay. So are you guys doing, it sounds like you're doing like early stage product development or even, technical POC type stuff. That's what it sounds like. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, about a third of our revenue comes from proof of concept prototypes, and about a third comes from like commercialization efforts. So we're kind of like, turnkey from start to finish, all the way from concept to manufacturing. And so for example, like I in this case, I can't really name names, but one of our largest clients, all we're doing is commercial production firmware. That's it. No mechanical engineering, no electrical. We're just writing firmware that's going straight to the customers and being commercially deployed.
Your classic firmware, commercialization stuff.
Yep, you got it. Yep, that's right. Yeah. So a lot of our revenue comes from that commercialization work. Like I said, about a third of it comes from that, and about a third comes from proof of concepts, and then about a third comes from what we like to call functional or integrated prototypes. So they're not quite commercialized yet, but they're not proof of concepts either. They're not early stage. We might have already built 10 prototypes, but this functional integrated prototype, the goal of it is to get you to an alpha production prototype.
So do you guys take things out to like scale out if you're, one of your clients wants to go to market? Because it sounds like a lot of the applications that you guys are supporting the development of and commercializing are application specific things. Like, I don't know what kind of work you guys do in mining, but do these tend to be more of those, like, let's say high value, difficult to design and develop type applications, or the more mass scale generic type hardware or system solutions?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. So first of all, I should point out that like we're riding the waves, right? Like, I mean, where do we see economic growth in the U.S. globally? Very, very obviously, we see it in like data centers for AI. We see it in AI more generally. But what does that mean? Well, it means we're going to need a lot more energy. So energy tech is like taking off like crazy. Obviously, this just kind of goes without saying. But what does that mean? Well, it means that we're going to need a lot of critical minerals. All right, we're going to need a lot of copper. We're going to need a lot of pretty much all metals. So mining is just booming, like absolutely booming globally, and it's pretty environmentally disastrous to just take old technology and old techniques and just like mine the earth, just destroy the earth in the process of getting these critical minerals. And we're very against that. And so what we realize is that there's this huge opportunity to develop mining technologies that are way, way, way cleaner, much more efficient, and much more precise about where you get the materials from. So if you don't have, like, if you're doing a big open pit mine, instead of just digging in places where you don't need to be digging, just dig where the minerals are. And so that's an example of the type of technology that we work on. So one of our biggest mining tech clients is a company called Ideon in Vancouver. And we designed and built them a muon tomography device that fits into a borehole. So this had never been done before. People said it couldn't be done because normally a muon tomography devices are so big, right? They're very big and very expensive. We miniaturized it. It's like a common thread in what we do. It's like miniaturization, ruggedization, getting the BOM cost down, and then building it in such a way that it meets a very specific need. You said application specific. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. We're not really building. We very rarely build these generic consumer devices that are one size fits all.
Or even very design devices, right? I mean, that was like the IoT play for quite some time, is to try to scale with generic, interoperable, standardized, blah, blah, blah. That didn't scale economically. So I was just trying to get a feel for how you guys are approaching the market opportunities and where. And so, this is good information.
I had a quick question, Leigh. Are you guys doing any model AI? You mentioned about AI model development or training and like doing it for like some of these very bespoke applications. Is that something you're doing in-house as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. We started doing that fairly recently. And so we built this SOM a few years back called Misty SOM. It's based on a Renesas RZ V2L chip. So it has it can do 1 TOPS. It has a neural processing unit for matrix math. And it now the thing with it is like, it's like not that super powerful, but what's wonderful about it is that it uses less than 5 watts of power. And so it has no heat sink, no fan. And it's infrastructure independent in the sense that it's a true edge compute device that can operate without the grid or any kind of connectivity whatsoever. Right. And so you can run this thing on a solar panel and like a small battery pack.
Right.
And so it's really great for inference at the edge. You can use it for smart cameras, security cameras. Like my favorite application is like detecting invasive species or like endangered species, like an animal camera. And then there's other applications too. Like our first commercial deployment of the technology was an airport. They're monitoring truck traffic, YVR airport, truck traffic driving on and off the island. And so, yeah, I could tell you like that's a logging truck, or that's a cement truck, or this is how many axles that semi truck has. And so we've actually gotten quite good at training machine learning models for our own hardware. So we're definitely not like a cloud we're not a cloud machine learning house. There are people out there that's all. Yeah, there's companies out there that's all they do. They hire a bunch of PhDs and they work on LLMs and foundational models and whatever. That's not us. Right. But what we can do is we can train really, really small models to operate at the edge. And we can do that for the long tail. So like if someone comes to us and says, for example, all we want to know is this mechanical sign goes up and down. And all we want to know is like, when the sign is up and when the sign's down. We're like, oh, why don't you just put a sensor on the sign? They're like, well, we don't own the sign. We're not allowed to put a sensor on the sign. So we have to do it with a camera. Right. It's like so this happens all the time where it's like one entity doesn't own the infrastructure, but they can see the infrastructure.
Yes.
So this we get a lot of those types of inquiries. Awesome. And yeah, it's pretty good. And so and like for us to train models like that is pretty straightforward. We're partnered with a company called Edge Impulse that recently got acquired by Qualcomm.
Yeah. So I guess we're good friends with those guys.
Pretty well. Yeah, we know those guys.
Yeah. Awesome. So like Adam Benzion and that whole crew.
Yeah. Sure. We've known Adam forever.
Yeah. Awesome. So so he back. I first met him back in the Hackster days when he was covering. He was writing some information about Burning Man art projects like these giant electromechanical sculptures I used to work on. So good dude, great company. We love it. We love Edge Impulse, but we also have built some of our own pipelines as well. So we just because we control the hardware, that means we control the firmware. And as it turns out, we can do a lot of structuring of the data before it even goes to Edge Impulse. And so there's a little secret sauce in there as well that we're quite good at.
That's cool. Well, that's near and dear to my heart. I think it's like you guys are kind of on the cutting edge. There's so many new silicon out there that's, like you said, ultra low power with a couple of tops that's easily solar powered or self powered, and the MLOps in there. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. You guys are doing that.
We just can't stop buying that hardware. Every time we buy a dev kit, because we have our own hardware, right? So we're benchmarking our own hardware against these dev kits. And so we got the Jetson Aura Nano, the smaller one that can operate as little as like 15 watts. And then I don't know if you ever tried the Halo. The Halo, for like a Raspberry Pi 5. We got that in house too. And these are they can do like 20 tops plus, which is like 20 times more powerful than our Misty Som. Problem is they can't do sub 5 watts. And so as it turns out, you can do a lot with one tops at sub 5 watts.
Sure.
But I'm always like, if you ever have any suggestions for us about like sub 5 watt neural processing units, please let us know, because we're constantly
out there. Neuromorphic.
There's a lot, but
there's a lot of
vaporware too. Like a lot of people say they can do it.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys are talking. Yeah, because Pete runs the show at the Edge AI Foundation, and so they do events all over the world. And
nice.
So
definitely
sounds like you guys are
with some folks that need some good hardware. That's for sure.
Oh
at the
man,
end of the day, it's like building it and shipping it is, you got to make it real, and so that's you guys are doing that.
I would love more of those rabbit holes with you. Maybe we can go down some of them today, and then maybe even a follow-on call. That's a topic very dear to my heart. It's probably biggest growth area for Misty West right now.
That's awesome. I see Jerry Jones from the Dallas Cowboys has joined us.
Awesome.
Wow.
I wouldn't go that far, because if that were the case, I'd fire myself.
You please fire yourself. Every day, I think lots of people in Dallas wake up and say, Jerry, please fire yourself.
Yes.
Please get off the sidelines. Please stop making this team suck. Please make this not a bad destination for your next head coach after you fired the last one,
It's bound to happen. I mean, this is Jerry Jones Jr. in effect. And Al Davis is rolling over in his grave clapping.
Yeah, he is.
Al Davis.
Yeah, he is.
What's that movie coming out? Who's playing Al Davis in this movie that's coming out?
I heard about it. I don't know.
It might be the real Al Davis.
There's some famous actor that really transformed themselves into Al Davis.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. That's awesome. I love that. So what's going on, Bill? What's the latest?
You know what? I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, I've been heads down. We're signing 3 deals in the next 3 days. I'm the holdup in trying to get all the contracts and everything lined up. So
That's what we've always heard about you is you're the holdup. So
I am. I
yeah.
am. It is all on me, and I'm the one that's slowing the train.
Wow. What kind of deals are you doing without divulging anything? What tech?
So a lot of it, I mean, we're working with, I think I mentioned it before, we're working with a number of cities around the World Cup. And so part of the deal is that we did not want it to be just an event-driven exercise. So where everything, all of the twins are going to be useful for the cities afterwards. So I mean, we were
So these
talking
are not disposable digital twins. They still have a
absolutely
shelf life
not.
beyond
Persistent.
after. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So
Maybe we should talk.
cities, colleges, and hospitals.
Yeah.
Want to do one in Vancouver?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
All right.
go.
We work on sensors for digital twins. So we often a lot of people that are buying our engineering services to design sensors are often companies that are offering digital twin services or this, in some cases the client themselves where they have a digital twin, but they're missing the data that they need to feed the digital twin on an ongoing basis.
That's always been the case. I mean, especially those that are using the, I'll say the Matterportish 3D model type twins.
Yeah.
They look pretty, but from an operational perspective, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And so we have a different point of view on that. I mean, it's the operations and the efficiency that makes the difference. And finally, after I don't know how many years, it's kind of caught on. And we're meeting with NVIDIA next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it's a technical meeting of the minds where Omniverse meets True North.
Wow.
So you mean that digital twins are not fancy 3D models AI powered running in the metaverse? I thought that's what it was.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And it shouldn't cost you millions of dollars to get started. So
Well, it's not fun then.
We make fun of the metaverse, but I'm actually quite fond of the idea of I don't know if you guys ever talk about this, but it seems like the other day I went on an app where I talked to the app for about a minute, and then the app proceeded to have a conversation with me, like LLM style, in my voice. So I was talking to myself. It was so freaky. I was talking to myself. It sounded just like me. And I not that long ago I created a 3D avatar of myself. It looked just like me. So and now they're getting really good at AI generated 3D. Yeah, so they can actually make your lips look like you're talking. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, what that means, correct me if I'm wrong, is that at some point we really will have a digital twin of ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to be good. It's going to be a good representation of who I am. And if that's the case, then, what's to stop me from making my own digital ghost so that after I'm dead, there's this ghost of me that my grandchildren and my great grandchildren can talk to. So as much as we make fun of the metaverse, I actually think that 50 to 100 years from now or something like that, I think there'll be a digital twin of the earth that's fairly accurate. And when people are dead, they can go and live there and live on or whatever.
Yep. I mean, I agree. It'll be long after we're physically gone, what troubles me is the hype that sits around. Everything is art of the possible as opposed to art of the practical.
Yeah, the thing is also I had variant arguments with Michael Greaves about that in the initial state, because I think the definition of digital twin has evolved a lot, because the initial definition actually represents a physical entity tightly connected to yourself. So it's just kind of a digital self, if you want. Now, because if you start thinking about what you said, Leigh, there's no reason why you couldn't have 15 of those ghosts. and they might have 15 different, responses. So they're not twins anymore. So it's a very loose kind of and Michael Greaves' major argument was, it's a metaphor. Okay, so good luck with metaphors. So I think it has very much evolved over time because it was really for the purpose of monitoring system and actually learning from multiple systems with their own individual twins. But now it's kind of a digital artifact connected to a physical object is or person or entity is really the definition now. But yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's actually art today, right? I mean, it's art. It's digital twin art.
Yeah, and this is where you end up with your kind of digital twin therapist, because apparently it's the new thing right now. So there's because your ghosts are going to need to
twin idea more than the digital twin, but that's
wow.
Well,
go ahead, Leonard.
Yeah, no, it was all the economic nonsense that people were pumping into this metaverse narrative, sort of this conversion with Web 3.0.
Right.
Or whatever,
crypto
just a bunch of real nonsense. Then all that just pivoted toward crypto. And, Debbie and I.
But Leonard, that's the answer. All those digital twins in the metaverse are going to exchange NFTs, and this is going to generate money. This is how it's going to work. Simple.
Yeah, well.
So some interesting news this week. MIT student drops out. Speaking of Leigh and MIT student drops out because she says AGI will kill everyone before she can graduate. And so she's concerned she may not even be alive to graduate because of AGI, and whatever it is everyone's working on is going to be worthless anyway, so you might as well just go have a big party.
I have a really
that's the lamest excuse I've heard for students
saving a lot of money on tuition. So.
I have a very simple solution to all this crap.
Oh, thank God.
So worried about AI. Stop using it. It's ancillary. It's not core. It's not your girlfriend. It's not your boyfriend. Just get to basics. Invest in friggin', IoT that works, technologies that work, if you're afraid of this stuff, stop using it. It's easy. Yeah. Just ditch it. There's no reason to be freaked out about it. So, if you continue to use it, you will use it to your doom, straight to whatever fantasy dystopia that, it's
Dr. Doom.
Don't worry. Then don't have to worry about AI, we just worry about ourselves.
So it's not a problem. I'm working on this AGI tech here at my house. I'm calling it Thanos. Is that going to be a problem?
It won't be a problem. I mean, you just have to let it know who has the last infinity.
Yeah, just hook it up to the command systems, and then you'll be fine. Okay, Rob.
Actually, you raised a really good point, Leonard. And I think this is actually really important for IoT more generally. Is I think that there's a major awakening coming to pretty much everyone around data and data security, cybersecurity. Most people just sort of take that stuff for granted, but in a world where your identity will be able to be stolen quite easily, right? If just imagine where AGI is kind of run amok. It's like you have criminals sort of stealing people's identities and using AI to sort of do fraud and things like this. I think almost certainly what'll end up happening is there's going to be a massive premium placed on brands that have a reputation for being secure with people's data.
Debbie, okay, keep going. But Debbie has to say something about that. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I want to hear what you have to say.
Go ahead. No, you have a second point.
Yeah,
keep it coming.
Yeah, and the second point is, and maybe this is the most important point, is that this is why edge compute is so important. If you want to have great control over data, and low latency, low cloud fees or no cloud fees, nothing beats having your data storage on-prem, and that's true for your house too, right? For my home, I don't want my kids' data on Google Cloud or Amazon Cloud, on AWS. I want my children's data in my own server at my own house on the edge. And if we're going to train AIs to learn about my kids and how to treat them and how to act with them, like a Jarvis or the digital butler or whatever, I want that data, my personal journals from when I was like 15 years old. Do I want to train ChatGPT on that data and give all my data to Sam Altman? Like that would be insane, right? That'd be completely batshit crazy, right? And so, and I think the whole world's going to wake up to this fact pretty quickly, and I think it's going to be a big boon for edge compute more generally.
Yeah. So, Leigh, I want you to know, you have the data diva.
Oh, nice.
Episode, man. Do you even know who she is?
All right, lay it on us, Denny.
Well, what do you have to say? I mean, did he do a good job, Data Diva?
He did a great job. He did a great job. He's talking all the words that I love to hear, right? So I love to hear he's working on the edge and working with small models, doing very discrete things, right? That is the thing that keeps people out of trouble, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of data and privacy. So you're definitely on the right track. And I think what is happening, and I definitely want your thoughts, Leigh, is that because there's so much more power that's not centralized, right? So what you're talking about, like these, very, low power things that you can do, very discrete, small things on the edge. I think that's definitely the future, and that's definitely what people want. And so, yeah, I think you're right up there, 1,000%.
I want to be a bit more controversial here because I obviously do buy in that, but the problem is that we are in a very small circle of very well aware and educated people about the subject, and so that's the first dimension. Awareness is not there. Most people don't understand that. The second dimension is that the barrier to entry, if you want to manage a server in your home and do all that, it's very high. There is no off-the-shelf, simple for everybody solution to do that compared to what the cloud offers. So until we solve those two issues, which is I can go to Walmart and buy the $50 box and then my family is safe. Okay. And second, I understand why I need to do that. I mean, we live in this tech world where we understand all that. And by the way, not all of us understand that even in the tech world. So I agree this should be the future. Is it going to materialize? I am really not sure about that. And I always give this example, even at the level of policies, everybody praises the European Union because of the GDPR. I mean, GDPR is totally obsolete. The right to be deleted is obsolete because my data has been used to train models, so I'm still there even if the data is deleted. But the regulator do not think that way. So I hope I would be as optimistic as you are, guys.
They're behind, but they're way ahead of everyone else. And they're motivated by other things. Digital protectionism is
the way ahead. Yeah, to some extent. I mean, they have some sense of what it is, but they don't understand how to implement it.
Yeah, but if it wasn't for them, nobody would have any sense. It would be the wild, wild west, right? So, but you know what? I mean, I think it is a great approach. I think it's kind of our job then, if we're the quote unquote enlightened or aware, to broaden the awareness. And congratulations, you got like Data Diva brand of approval there, Leigh. So that's really great.
I have a question for Debbie.
So you know what you should do is you should clip that part of this video and then you should go buck wild with it.
Yeah. Debbie, ask you a couple of questions about data security and like edge compute.
I'm sorry. Say your question one more time.
So I got a couple questions for you. So I was curious, what do you think of the DGX Spark and the GB10 chipset?
Oh, I don't know that.
No. Okay, so you were saying small. You were saying small things on the edge, for edge compute. What I like about the DGX Spark is like a new product from NVIDIA. Yeah. It's pretty inexpensive. So normally to get like, if you want to put like 2,000 tops in the home, to do that, you used to have to spend about $50,000 to make that happen. All in, installed and everything. And I think they're going to sell that DGX Spark for like $2-3 or something like that. So it drops the cost by more than an order of magnitude. And what's crazy about it is that you'll be able to run an LLM on that, no problem. So you like if you want to run something kind of like DeepSeek or even like Meta's latest Llama models, You can run these. You could train a model on your journal entries. You could train a model on your your WhatsApp data, on your Slack data, on your chat history, your text messages from your phone. You could have one of these things in your bedroom and in your bathroom, and it could listen to you. You can listen to the noises of your bathroom and bedroom, and it wouldn't, and it will know. But it's your device. But it's your device, Leonard. But that's the point. That's the point.
I will never query noises of the Leigh family and an LLM. Sorry, there, Leigh. That's like that's like freaky weird stuff.
But what's beautiful about it. So if you have a grandfather who has a medical condition, and you want to make sure that he's not falling in the bathroom. Sure. Okay. Right, and you have a
DGX Spark for that. I mean, you can run that on a Snapdragon for a 1/100th of the cost.
Yeah, and you also want to prevent your kid from dying from sudden infant death syndrome, right? In the bedroom, there are some like secure options and things like this, but like the vast majority of those options out there have back doors for the data. Massive cybersecurity risks, and you have to buy 10 different devices that there's no generalized device. And so if you want to build Jarvis for the home and you want your most private, intimate moments, secure, as far as I can tell, the only way to really do that right now is to spend $50,000 and have essentially a server installed in your home. And so we have this customer right now called Huge, Huge. And they're using GB10s to build like an Apple like product that's like plug and play that your grandma could use. That is that gives you like the movie Her, but it's for your house.
Yeah. And everywhere.
Yeah. You want ScarJo? You want ScarJo with you everywhere?
I do, as it turns out. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And you know what? We're gonna we will know when that hockey stick happens is when that system shows up in Bill's house. So
I was just gonna say I do so much of what you're talking about, but it never leaves 770 Bridgewater Loop. Yeah. It never exits anywhere. And the only thing that lives in the cloud is the configuration for the sensors that I have through my house.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And awesome. I don't think you're too far off there, Leigh. And this kind of goes up against Dimitri's argument that I think there will be value. That is an opportunity for a company, probably Apple, to come up with an appliance that you can deploy locally. That's privacy first. That is for the home, and will actually insulate you from all this deleterious sharing. I mean, people don't understand, and Debbie and I talk about all this time. We've said this like 2 years ago. These things don't forget once they're trained. And that is so dangerous. And not only that, they misrepresent you, because consider how bad your own data is. They will hallucinate on top of that and represent you either probably in a Tay-type fashion, and probably will say that all of us are assholes, right?
Yeah.
I know I am. So
we know you are. It's so funny.
No, I am not.
You are. It's funny, Leonard. I loved it earlier. You were kind of talking about, don't use AI, whatever. You're worried about it. I still find my favorite meme in this AI era. I know you've probably all seen it many times.
Sarah Connor watching you use AI for everything.
Exactly. She's like, that's her looking at it like, you guys are idiots.
if I may say like a couple quick positive things about AI. So first of all, I'm a huge fan of digital hygiene and teaching kids digital hygiene. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this term. I heard it fairly recently. Digital hygiene should be taught in schools. Digital hygiene should be taught by parents. Learning good digital hygiene is a prerequisite for a world that can be compatible with AI. And it's amazing. It's shocking to me how slow we've been. Like we know about washing our hands to not get diarrhea. Like that's a well understood thing. But like the same thing is true for doom scrolling and rage bait when it comes to AI, right? And so the next thing I was going to mention is that okay, so have any of you ever used AI to help you solve an interpersonal issue or like say a marital dispute?
No.
It is so good. It is shocking. It is I think it's the killer app for AI. For me, it's the killer app for AI. Like if you get into a fight with your partner, and you don't really understand your own emotions and you don't really understand where he or she is coming from, go type in write up the whole fight from start to finish into ChatGPT or whatever. Don't give it too much private data if you can avoid it. And then say, help me understand why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Help me understand how they are feeling and where they're coming from. Ask me questions to help me better understand the whole situation. And it's like the best counselor I've ever had. I've done lots of counseling. It's unbelievable. And it's free. It's essentially free. And so I think that this is I think it's a sleeper hit that people don't realize how good it is.
Okay.
They actually passed a law in Illinois against that.
Oh no. Yeah.
Protecting the jobs of counselors and
Well, because so you as an individual, doing that, but they were like, they don't want companies trying to substitute AI for like actual clinicians and, people who have education and certification and stuff like that.
Training.
I would say
licensed counselors.
Yeah,
I think the digital hygiene thing is totally cool, though.
Yeah,
generative AI to me is like the best passive aggressive email writer that I've ever seen. It's amazing.
Nice. But what if your AI got certified though? Like, what if the AI took the test?
There could be a service that is licensed and certified.
Yeah, the AI took the test, passed the test to be a certified clinician. Are they okay?
No, because how do I know that the AI didn't use AI to pass the test?
That's right.
It probably did.
Yeah.
Well, once it knows everything, in the end, remember, folks, it's just a big data set of everything we've ever done and everything we know.
Bottom line, start with trust.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, did you guys hear? I know we're at the end here. Also, speaking about personal whatever, I also saw in the news this week that Denmark has a new law, or they're going to propose a new law about copyright. We talk about copyrighted works. We all worry about how all these LLMs have scraped the internet of copyrighted work. Basically, a person can copyright their face, their body, a whole bunch of stuff. Take a look. But the gist of it is so that now humans can take legal action against these AI companies once basically the law is like, I am copyrighted everything about me. And I don't know, it's pretty interesting, but yeah, go look it up. Go figure.
That's probably not a bad idea. I mean, I don't really want like some corporation to like copy me and then use me for whatever they want to use me for. That'd be pretty awful.
Right.
I don't know what they're doing, but
the shizzle. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Leigh, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for the sponsorship. And, looks like you guys are doing some great stuff. And hopefully our IoT Coffee Talk audience will appreciate you guys. And hopefully there's some collaborations that you'll find through the sharing that you've done on the show. So
I just want to encourage anyone who is listening, if you want advice and you just want to run some ideas past us, you have a problem related to IoT hardware, hard tech or deep tech, especially for mining tech and smart infrastructure and health tech, come just knock on our door. Come say hi. Like, I'm easy to find on LinkedIn. We have a website, MistyWest.com. And
you have a website?
Yeah, I know. In this now, web 3.0.
You're from the future. Wow.
From the future.
Yeah.
And come knock on our front door. Come find me. Say hi. And even if your project you think isn't quite the right fit for us, we usually know consultants and contractors and other firms that probably will be the right fit. And so a lot of what we do is just connect customers to our partners. We're very selective about what we work on, but we divert probably about 90% of the leads that come in our door. We send those over to our frenemies, our competitors, our rivals, and our partners.
Nice guy.
That's cool. Wow. I love that.
All right, Rob.
All right, all right. Thanks for joining us on another exciting episode of IoT Coffee Talk. And we actually talked a lot more about IoT this time than we usually do, which is crazy. Who knew, right? Our advice, don't drop out of MIT because you think you're going to be dying because of AGI before you get a chance to graduate. Go out there, learn, fight the good fight. Humanity first, right? We got this.
Future is all right.
Yes, exactly. We're going to make it fine. Remember, it's abundance, right? Okay. Yeah. So, great having Leigh Christie on from Misty West on here. Great discussion today. Lots of good, fun AI talk as well. And nothing too negative from Dimitri, so that's good. Always a plus. Thanks, Dimitri. Exactly. I'm glad that Bill is out there digital twinning the whole planet. I'm all about that. That's awesome. Definitely need Leigh and Pete to get together with Edge AI stuff because you guys are obviously birds of a feather here for sure. And thanks for the data diva as always. Make sure and reach out. Come to iotcoffeetalk.com. Go to elevateourkids.org. Remember, the whole reason for our organization is to support kids that crossing that digital divide, computers, connectivity, kids who are having to do remote learning, things like that. Started it during COVID. We're still going. Who knew? Thanks again. We're looking forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week, y'all.
Take care. Bye.
Everyone.